All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Tonight, we're going to be looking at a couple of different things, but if you want to go ahead and turn to Ephesians chapter 4, I'm going to read a few verses out of Ephesians chapter 4, but as you're turning there, I also think about passages like 1 Corinthians 12, which is one of the passages where Paul talks about us being many parts but one body. And it's important for all of us, for each part of the body to work properly and to function. And so one of my favorite passages that portrays this and explains this is in Ephesians chapter 4. And I'm going to begin in verse 11. And it says this: "And he gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the shepherds, and teachers to equip the saints for the work of ministry, for building up the body of Christ." And we talked this morning about good works and what do good works look like, and how are they fueled by love, and there needs to be commitment, there needs to be joy, and there needs to be humility. And so we looked at how good works require all of those things, and here it says that it's the job of the leaders to equip the saints for the work of ministry, for building up the body of Christ. But it's not just that building up the body of Christ, building up the church is the end goal. Let's keep reading. "Until we all attain to the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to mature manhood, to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ." So we want to, all of us, mature and grow into, as one body, grow into the image of Christ, into the person of Christ. We want people, when they see our church, we want them to think of Jesus, and we want them to see his body fully functioning the way it's supposed to. But that sentence doesn't end there. In verse 14, it keeps going. It says this: "So that we may no longer be children, tossed to and fro by the waves and carried about by every wind of doctrine, by human cunning, by craftiness and deceitful schemes." So he doesn't want us tossed around. He doesn't want us unaware of our identity. He wants us to be mature and solid, standing on the rock of Christ. And then verse 15, "Rather, speaking the truth in love, we are to grow up in every way into him who is the head, into Christ, from whom the whole body, joined and held together by every joint with which it is equipped, when each part is working properly, makes the body grow so that it builds itself up in love." And so if we're functioning the way that we're called to function as a church, then each part is doing what it was designed to do, and together we're ministering to even one another as we're being the body, and we're continuing to mature and grow up each part by part. And so tonight, what I want us to do is I want us to be aware of all the different roles and positions and ways to serve that we have in our church. And there's a few things that I want you to do tonight. Is I want you to consider, if you've been doing something for a while, do you still have the heart to do that? There's a lot of times where we continue doing something just simply by virtue of no one else will do it. And sometimes we have to. Sometimes we don't have a choice. But what I would like is, if you feel like there's a role you want to step out of, then you have the freedom to let us know that, and give us some time so that we can start recruiting someone that you can train and help to fill your shoes and to fill your place in whatever role you've been in. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that you are filling roles within the church that you're passionate about and that you're gifted in, that you're equipped to do. And so with that said, I also understand that many of the people who need to hear what we're saying tonight, because they're not yet plugged in, they're not yet equipped, many of those people aren't even here. And so what we want to do is we just want to begin to build a culture and an awareness for every church member, that we want every single person playing their part, every member of minister, as we've been saying. And so what that means is that I'm going to need your help in the things that we're communicating, and it's no secret. We've been communicating them from the pulpit on Sunday mornings. It's a part of from top down. We're trying to change the culture of our church to where it's not just 20% of the people doing 80% of the work, but every single person is involved and connected. And so what that means is I'm going to need you to pray as you hear about these different roles, I want you to think about who are the members of our church who are sitting in here on Sunday mornings, sitting in your Sunday school classes, or sitting in your home groups, who are not yet leading in some way. And when I say leading, it can be in the background, it can be, quiet, no one has to even know you exist or you're doing your job, Some people like to be hidden servants. But we all need to play our part. We all need to do our role. And so, with that said, what does it look like in our church? What are the positions that I'm talking about that help us to each play its part and to each be the body of Christ that God has called us to do? There's a lot of gifts that are mentioned in the Bible and a lot of roles. There's two offices that we look at, which are pastor, shepherd, and deacons. We also have other positions like evangelists and things like that are kind of people are doing to encourage the church or going out and sharing the gospel with people outside the walls of the church. We have missionaries and church planners. Some people call that apostles, little a apostles, not the original apostles, but church planners and missionaries who we send out to start new churches or to go into the furthest parts of the world and share the gospel there. We have some missionaries here tonight, and so praise God for that. If you were here Wednesday night, you got to hear their testimony. But anyway, we have different roles, but it's the job of the leaders to equip the saints for the work of the ministry. So what roles have we kind of put together to help you use the way that you're gifted to serve the Lord? If you're a teacher, okay, that's pretty easy, right? You could be a Sunday school teacher. You could do something like that if your gift is teaching. But what about if your gift is hospitality? What about if your gift is serving? What about if your gift is, fill in the blank? And then some of us are better at reaching certain people than others. What if you feel, just for whatever reason, you're able to communicate with teenagers when for most of us they speak a foreign language, right? And so, hey, we've got youth that we want to get you connected with Brock, and we want you to start helping there. There are different age groups that you might feel more inclined to help than others. My wife, she loves all teenagers. There's a teen behind her, two of them. She loves all teenagers. However, she feels more drawn toward little children. That's why she teaches third grade. And so she prefers ministry ministering to children over youth. And some of you would be like lost if we asked you to teach a third grade class or even to chaperone, at camp or something like that. It's just not what your thing is. Some of you have no idea what your thing is. That's okay. That's also why we're here tonight. Sometimes it's okay to throw something against the wall and see if it sticks, okay? Many a missionary were called by going on a short-term mission trip and seeing that was something that they could be a part of, that they felt drawn to another culture. God uses that to call missionaries all the time. In the same way, you might not even know that you're called to help with youth until you actually step up and help at an event. And so I encourage you, if you don't know if you're called, you might not want to go ahead and teach the fourth grade Sunday school class. You might want to attend a children's event first to see if you even like being around the kids, right? But some of the things that you're going to hear tonight is just a potpourri of different things that we have going on at our church. And what we want you to do is we want you to think of how am I involved, how am I in leadership, how am I helping? And if you are helping in an area that you aren't sure about, then just let us know, okay? We don't want you to feel locked in like you have to do that, all right? But we also know that we need leaders in order to make certain things happen. There are no sacred cows in this church. If we don't have people who feel called to lead the ministries that we have going on, then we've got to do something different, okay? I remember, not to pick on OCC, you'll hear from them later, but Brock asked me one time, what are we going to do if Christy doesn't want to do OCC anymore? And I said, no, somebody will step up. And he was like, but what if they don't? And I said, well, we won't be the regional leaders for OCC anymore. It'll be okay. And he was like, I don't think it will be. And so he knows the culture better than me. He knows what, he's been here longer. But somebody will step up. If that's a ministry that we need to keep doing, whatever it is, fill in the blank, for those of you who are in here and have been leading, then someone will step up, or we need to reevaluate whether we even need to do that thing or not, that way. And so, anyway, with that said, you're going to hear from a lot of different ministry leaders tonight, and then at the end of the night, you're going to have an opportunity to look at all these sign-up sheets of all the different ways that you could possibly help. Some of them are easy things. It's one event for the year. Don't just sign up for one event for the year and think that's the only way you have to serve all year, okay? With the events, that's just something to help you kind of get your feet wet, or if you know you're already passionate about it, you can go in and help serve and make that thing happen. And then there are some more permanent roles that are up here, and if that's something you're interested in, then you can see some of those things also. If you're not a church member, if you're here and you want to be involved, but you're not a church member, for whatever reason, then we encourage you, if you don't have a church home, join our church. But if you can't join our church for some reason, or you're still just in the wait and see stage of whether you want to be a member here or not, then what we would encourage you to do is just still sign up to help with something, and there will be plenty of other adults. We're not putting someone who's not a church member in charge of anything. In fact, we don't even put, if you haven't been a church member for a year, we try to make sure that we have another couple or individual from the church that have been members for a while partnered with you. And so we won't leave you high and dry. If you're a guest and you want to try to help in some way, then hey, we want you to help. Just know that we won't put you in charge of something unless you're a church member. All right, any questions before we get going? Okay, we've asked several people to help us tonight by sharing a little bit about what it means in their ministry. And when I say a little bit, I'm saying I gave them a hard 2 minutes, okay? I told them 2 minutes, and I'm taking the microphone. And so, but if I've asked you to speak, would you go ahead and come up, and let's get everybody up here at the same time, and you can sit on these first two pews here, or there's a pew over there. And we don't have a specific order of how we're going to go here. All right, Cindy's going first. So Cindy's already standing. I'm going to hand her the microphone. Yep. And she's forgotten something. So what we're going to do is just once Bob and Cindy sit down, whoever wants to go next, or actually before they sit down, we'll need someone else to stand up so they can hand you the microphone and you can go. Are you setting a 2-minute timer?
Yeah, I'd already made up my mind. I was not going over the 2 minutes. I don't care if I have to stop mid-sentence. I'm not going. Give me 2. Okay, hello, I'm Cindy Griffiths, and I am a chairman of the Hospitality Committee. Our job is to set up, serve, and clean up after any event our pastor staff puts before us. There are 9 women on this committee who each serve a 3-year term with 3 rotating off each year and 3 coming on. It is time to add those 3 people. So if you're interested in this committee, please sign up. I am one of those that are rotating off. Okay, Bob and I also serve on the rodeo ministry. This mission project is where our church, along with other churches in our association, serve meals to the cowboys and cowgirls each day of the rodeo. We feed sandwiches, chips, and Little Debbie's before the rodeo, and we serve a full country meal after the rodeo. We enlist church volunteers to help prepare and serve each afternoon and evening. This is a very rewarding ministry that we love doing, and we are very known all over the place for our sweet tea. Ooh, minute 13.
Well, most of y'all know me. I'm Randy Rutledge, and I teach the Pillars class. After 20 years, Campbell Wilkerson, that had done a fantastic job there, just started feeling like the Lord wanted him to step aside. I never thought that I would teach the elderly or the super seniors. Never done that before. But one day while I left church one day and I was going to get something to eat, and I was part of the men's Sunday school class in the MMC, and I was thinking about, but I just was unhappy and unsatisfied for some reason, even though that class was a great class. And this thought came to me, why don't you go teach the pillars? And actually, I laughed out loud because I thought, me teach the pillars? But then God began to deal with me, and so I took over that ministry, and it's been a great blessing, a great blessing. I actually went with Campbell one Sunday to sit in and see how it went, and just felt like the Lord tugging at my heart. And as far as people getting involved, of course, Campbell fills in for me when I can't be there when he can. Josh Martin actually filled in this week for the first time, and I believe that went really well. So if you want to be on my list of fill-ins, when I can't be there or somebody else can't be there, I'd be glad to have you do it. It's just we have a Sunday school book like all the classes. It's real easy. And Freddie and Pam McKinley, am I saying it right? They come and they sing 2 hymns, and the people there, they really love it just before class. And but sometimes they can't make it. And so we need somebody to fill in for them. We had a lady, Linda Murphy, that used to do it, but she's gotten to the point where she really can't even stay awake during the class, even though she comes. It's just her age has caught up with her. Anyway, so there are places to help and serve, or if you just want to come help me, and I'd love it. So anyway.
I pointed to Randy to be second because I was not following Cindy. Got it? Okay. So I'm Margie Dobson, and along with Kay Dumas, we are the co-leaders of Women on Mission, and our name says what we do. And we meet the first Tuesday of every month in the parlor from 9:30 till 11. We do missions and ministry. Every year, Jenny Allen prints a book of what we've done so we can remember. This tells us what we're going to do for this year. So we do a 9-month planning of the ministries or missions that we're going to do. And the last couple of years, we've really grown with some of our young ladies who are taking leadership, like Ashley Blessing, and we're thankful for that. And so I'm just going to share one ministry that we do, since you know who we are and what time we meet and where we meet. We did a new ministry this year that we probably won't repeat, but it was very rewarding. This is the toy bus. This toy bus, we, Arkansas Baptist, own it. Our cooperative program money pays for it, so we're part of it. And it provides toys for foster care children. In Arkansas, we have 6 sites where toys are stored for foster care children. They may be brought there by their parent, their foster parent, for birthday and Christmas. They may pick out toys, the word toys, for those 2 things. And so if your children and your foster care children, and you don't live in one of those 6 areas where the toys are housed, you may call the Arkansas Baptist State Convention and schedule a time where they will bring this toy bus to the area you are with your foster children. And there could be more than just you, but they'll bring that bus. Those kids go on that bus. They pick out the toys they want for their birthday and Christmas. What did we do to help that ministry for foster care children this year on the South parking lot on a hot day, on a windy day? There were some great volunteers, even our pastor, that got out there, and for 4 hours, you see, we gave them 3 hours to get here, 3 hours to get back before dark. We wedged in 4 hours of collection. In 4 hours, we collected almost 500 toys for foster care children. So it was a great day. God blessed, but He blesses all of our ministries. So, Women on Mission, we're just part of being the church.
I'm Roddy Goodwin, and I'm with the Keenagers. Teenagers meet the second Tuesday of every month except June, July, and August. Teenagers are about three things: food, fun, and fellowship. You probably all know that we've got some fantastic cooks in this church, ladies and men. We've got some guys that bring out some great dishes. So I promise you, if you come to Teenagers, you won't be disappointed with the food. Then fun. We try to keep the programs light. We try to have an interesting program every month. We've had elected officials, football players, missionaries. Wish you guys were going to be here a little longer. We put you to work. And music. Sean will have the program in September. He's going to tell us about himself. We're going to maybe get to ask him some questions. And maybe, I don't know, it's up to him, maybe he'll do a little picking and grinning. We'll see. But we try to have light programs. Okay. And the third thing is fellowship. And fellowship is a serious part of Teenagers. We believe that the more we get to know each other, the stronger the church we are. And this is a relaxing time, excuse me, to get to know the others in the church. Now then, the text that I got said I was supposed to tell what we need. We need two things. We need more teenagers, especially we need some of you younger seniors. Don't do like I did. When I retired, I thought I was too young to meet with those old folks. And I took a long time doing it, but when I did, I realized that I messed up. So if you're retired, my experience has been if you come one time, you will come back. And the other thing is program ideas. Like I said, we try to keep the programs light. We do not allow preachers. And so if any of you, whether you're teenager age or not, have some good ideas for our programs, we'd like to hear from you.
Hello, I'm Chris Bounds. I am chair of the Properties Committee, and we are a group of dedicated men and women of 12, and we rotate off each year as well, so there's going to be spots available if anybody feels like they're led to do that. Another thing that I'll mention is that our meetings are not closed, they're open, so every month we meet, so if you feel like this is something you might be led to do, I encourage you to come join us when it's usually on Monday nights, the first Monday of each month. So again, you're welcome to join and just check out what we do. So a little bit about that. We're blessed with a facility that's over 60,000 square feet. I don't know if anybody realizes that, but that's a lot of square footage that we have. Now that 60,000+ square feet, if you count upstairs and everything, sits on almost 10 acres. So there's a lot to do. We do a range of things from changing light bulbs to moderate projects, some remodel stuff, things like that. Anything that we can do with volunteers. We do have to work with contractors to do a lot of stuff, but we need people that understand that side of it as well and can add value there. Another thing, as far as an urgent, I don't want to call it urgent, but a need that we really do have is we have a great group of volunteers that are not even on the committee, or not all of them are on the committee, that handle our grounds, like just doing the landscaping. And we could definitely use, because we got a lot of guys and gals that are talented, but on our group, we're mostly mechanical minded. So nuts and bolts, carpentry, those kinds of things. Maybe not the green thumb. So if there's somebody out there with a green thumb, feels like they're led, come join the group.
My name is Kurt Price. I've actually served in Upward Basketball since it started, when it started in Daniel's gym under Mark Brickhouse. So Gigi Brickhouse was my assistant coach, or I was her assistant coach. I don't remember which, for there. But we served last year, it was around 120 kindergarten through sixth graders in basketball and cheerleading. And it's essentially running a sports league and a ministry as one. I would say other than Vacation Bible School, it's probably our largest children's outreach that we run at the church. And it's probably slightly more diverse than Vacation Bible School. It's probably about 30 to 40% minority for that. And so it's a real blessing to see it. Some of the challenges we do have, it's a partnered ministry, so it's between us and Grace. We were really struggling to get the volunteers we needed for First Baptist of Crossett. So we partnered with Grace to do that. And then as far as needs go, there's two. One is I'm coordinating too much, and I've talked to some people about helping me reduce the amount of coordination that involves. But second, we need coaches and people that are willing to share their faith with children. Last year was a really challenging year for the reason that we couldn't get volunteers that were the standard that we would have liked to have gotten. So it's a real challenge when you're serving in these ministries and you're ministering to kids, and you need good quality. And so it just really is helpful to have people that are willing to help. So some of the areas that people can serve, you're like, I'm not really into sports, what can I do? Devotions each week, there's 4 each week there. Refereeing, even if you can't referee yourself, you can coordinate, like as far as organizing and scheduling. That's available too. But it's a massive ministry. It's 120 kids. It's probably around 30 to 40 total volunteers when you look at evaluations all the way through the season. So those are some of our needs. It's a lot of fun too. I don't want to paint the picture like it's this really difficult thing, but there are a lot of needs for it. So thank you.
Well, I'm Christy Price, and Brother Philip already kind of shared what I'm here for. I'm here for Operation Christmas Child, and I wanted to talk we do 2 things here at our church with Operation Christmas Child. We serve in the ministry and packing the boxes. So what that is we pack shoe boxes full of fun items, and they are called go boxes, meaning gospel opportunities. Each box represents one child who gets to hear the name of Jesus and that Jesus loves them. And so these boxes go out into the world. As we pack them, we will do packing parties here, and then we will also pack individually as families. We will pack boxes, and we will cartonize those, and they will go out into the world. The other thing we do as a church is, as he also said, we are the area team that collects the shoe boxes. So last year we collected 5,002 shoe boxes here at our church, which is a huge undertaking as well. So that means all of the churches in Ashley County bring their boxes to us, whether it's 10 boxes or whether it's like Meridian, which was 900. It's an amazing opportunity to see other churches and get involved with them and see the feet of the gospel literally going out and children being able to hear, because each box represents one child who hears and a family who hears. So what do we need? During the season of November, it's a busy season. We will start the last week of October, and we will pack through the first week to the week before Thanksgiving. We will have multiple packing parties, so if you see one and you'd like to participate, please come. I will also need help setting those up. I work now. Before I did this ministry, I didn't work, and now I'm trying to do it all, which doesn't work. So I will need help setting up those packing parties. We do packing boxes at the kids, the youth pack, our WOM packs, and then we just pack some other things. Also, we will need help as the church collection the week before Thanksgiving. We have to take all those boxes from the other churches. It's an awesome chance to do that. We also have trailers that take them to Monticello. Last year, I think we had 6 trailers, which was a new record. We had 5 before, and last year we had to have 6. So I may be calling you or asking if you have a trailer, like Mr. Jimmy keeps his trailer just for us. So if you have a trailer, please let me know. We always need trailers. If you're willing to drive, that would be awesome. And if you just want to come and enjoy seeing churches being excited about what they're doing in their church, it's a great opportunity.
I Felicia Toller, and I do the Inspire Women's Ministry. And when I started it, it was mainly about fun and fellowship because I felt like women needed that. We need to have that fellowship together. But we've also added in the last year, we added service. And one of the things we did is a packing party for OCC, and then we also have been doing some cooking and things for the call as well, and so we're serving in that capacity. At our last meeting, we've even thought of some more ways that we can serve the community and want to do that. But my encouragement for you is, if you're a woman in the church, we need each other, and we need to all ages, you know, and that's one of the things, that was my vision when we started this, is just that we could all gather together and have fun and fellowship and get to know each other better and form friendships with, I mean, you know, young, married, new baby, like Emily back there, and, you know, and Miss Kay. I mean, you know, that sort of thing, so that we could have that kind of fellowship in our church. And I think it makes us all stronger, like they said, when we all can bond and have that and, you know, be together. Really, my needs are just volunteers to help. Sometimes it seems like events, I end up doing a lot, or I have a little core group that helps me. Connie Kelly is my assistant, and she's great, and Diane helps me a lot, and different ones. But it's always nice to get other people involved and to help just do things. We're going to have some fun things coming up. We're going to have a Miss Personality contest coming in September. And October, we've got things the rest of the year. So, and I'll get those on the schedule so that you can see them. But I really appreciate all that do help me and are a part of it. And I hope that some of you that haven't gotten to our next event, that you'll come and just see if it's something that you'd like to be a part of.
Hi, I'm Carrie Bounds. I'm here with the Personnel Committee. I feel like we're the least exciting group up here tonight, but think of us as kind of the HR department, loosely. We support staff in any way we can and look at the church's staffing needs and try to deal with all that. Practical ways we can help. Obviously, number one, we need to pray for our staff. They do not have regular hours. They have job descriptions, but there's no way we could make one that encompasses everything they do. Burnout is real, and pray for them, please. Secondly, are very practical things. We could all do a better job picking up after ourselves everywhere we are, whether it's in the sanctuary, in a classroom, you know, candy wrappers on the floor, whatever it is, that could help them with a lot of time. Setting up classrooms, tearing them down, putting things back. If you unlock a door, lock it back. You know, these are not very fun things, but it sure would save them a lot of time. Finally, ask our staff what they need. If you've got some time to help, I know there's a list of things on the list to get done, cleaning out a closet, doing some organizing. They will take volunteer time if you have it to give. We do have some people on our committee rotating off this year. If you have skills or gifts in that realm, let me know. We will need some new members for next year.
All right, I'm making sure I had my stuff straight. All right, so I'm Brock Rogers. I'm the student pastor here. I'm on staff, and so, but yes, I'm here. Just want to talk about youth for a little bit. I know I look around, and there's not many in this room that have not served in some capacity in our student ministry the last 4 years since I've been here, and then all the years prior as well, of course. But the Lord's really been blessing our youth ministry, just capturing our students' hearts, wanting them to take ownership of things, start new ministries, whether that's in their schools or with their friends, or come out and be out. I know Pastor Philip mentioned this morning about our kids and youth, just even in the sheer numbers that we're having, students just being involved. You know, we had 92 this last Wednesday, and that's not our first Wednesday in the 90s or in the hundreds or in the 80s and 70s. It's constant. It's been awesome. Probably the last 2 years, if you were to average out like our first-time visitors in our youth group, it's been awesome to see that we've had at least one that we could say has been there every Wednesday, for the last, I don't know how long, we have students fill out first-time guest cards when they come in so we can get their info and contact them and invite them back. And I've got a stack of almost 500 cards over the last 4 years in my office, and that's just, some of them, and so it's just been awesome to meet that many students over the last several years and be involved with all the things that we get to do with them. One thing that we do is the student ministry is year-round, and so we never stop meeting, and we meet as much as possible. As our committee, with some of your members here tonight would tell you, I do not like to cancel. And then I found out the hard way, sometimes you do, when the tornado sirens went off and everyone else had canceled but me. So I'm like, all right, guys, in the bathroom, and then we're just going to keep teaching, so sorry. So now, we try to keep a closer eye on the weather, but we meet roughly between our Wednesday nights and our Sunday nights, probably close to about 80 times a year. Throughout the year, we have about 80 different gatherings, year-round, just through those two, meeting twice a week, every week, as much as we can, and a lot of those follow school schedule, but we meet all through the summer and continue things going. And so Wednesday nights, we'll take all the help we can get. Right now, I would say we're roughly averaging one volunteer per 10 students. On some nights, we're a lot lower than that. Some nights there's 5 or 6 of us with 80 students. Sometimes there's 12 of us, but we have different volunteers assigned in different areas. And so, Mariah is assigned to the twins. I'm assigned I'm on stage, and Jenna's in the sound booth. And so, some of us aren't able to be, physically with the students. And that's been a big need that we've needed, and our committee has tried to meet, is to actually be more physically present with the students during worship time, during the preaching time, sitting amongst them, worshiping with them, not having to, complete tasks or do something like that, or step aside or have to, do something like that. And so on Wednesday nights, we will take, as much help as we can get. And that's just praying for students. That's worshiping with the students. That's playing games with the students. Jacob always loves to come and play basketball with them and have fun with them. I like to run around and hang out with them as well, and be able to socialize with them. We also, throughout the year, we'll do small group times, and so we'll split up by grades and genders in there. And we always, could use some more teachers for that, to take some pressure off of our committee as well. And so they're able to do things like they've signed up for like choir, and I know they love it and they would not, trade it, but it'd be awesome to, just get some new faces in there and some people to meet and greet. Many of our youth volunteers now have served 3 or 4 years since I've been here. It's been us, kind of the same people that have been there just faithfully every week, and it's been awesome to have that. And the students love them, and the students are not worried about how young or how old or how agile or athletic you are. They just want, they just love having that attention. I don't know how many students that I talk to that just don't have anybody older than them pouring into their lives or caring about them or checking up on them. Or know where they're at, and all these kinds of things. And so we could definitely use some more help on Wednesday nights, and we do have a sign-up. He's talking about sign-ups, and we do have a sign-up specifically for Wednesday nights. The other side of youth is our events. Currently, we typically do about 20 events a year on a rotation, and so it's over, one a month, on average. I don't do math, but I know that's more than one a month on average. It's a lot. We keep moving, and so we're always needing people to drive the vans, just van drivers. We're needing people to help do food or help set up, help tear down, help cook or help provide in that way. Also, just chaperones to help keep eyes on students. If you're a night owl, we could always use help there. We did an event last night. We got back at midnight. We have several other events throughout the year that are later as well. And so we could always use more volunteers that are willing to just come and sit with students or hang out or keep an eye on the doors, make sure no one's running around going crazy or, wrestling or anything like that. And so, but we have several events. Some of the ones, or one of the biggest one is D Now, which this last year we had roughly 100 people all throughout the church working in that event, which was awesome. And so, coming up, sign-ups for D Now open up actually in November every year. And so we're just like, 2 months. Is that right? 2 months away. Having to think quick. 2 months away from opening up those sign-ups and getting kids, coming and pumping them up. We had 120 last year attend. Had about 140 sign up. This next year, we're praying and our goal, to see about 150 students in attendance, with even more signed up. And so we think that's an achievable number, alongside, with God's help and His grace and everything. Just convicting the kids to want to be there and be a part of this conference. And so we're super excited about it, but that means we need a lot more help. We need to almost double our host homes. Our kitchen crew will need a lot more volunteers to help cook. It is a lot of food. I mean, yeah. I mean, when you need help carrying bags of spaghetti, it's a lot of spaghetti. All right? And so we need double our host homes. We need small group leaders. We need people to join the rec team and the security team and all the other things it takes to have that youth conference here at our church and here in this town, and all the other churches and students that come alongside and partner with us in that as well. The last thing that I'll say is that we also need help just on the other side, kind of behind the scenes. A lot of that could be, again, the physical side of it, but also a need that's been coming up a lot more recently, when we're seeing, we're influencing roughly 100 students, weekly, and just not even at just Wednesday services, but I'm on the sidelines at all the football games. We're at we're at every sporting event at the moment. We have access to all of those, and we're at those events, ministering. We're in the schools twice a week, ministering to them there. And a lot of the things that come up is, we need people to come alongside these students and help disciple them, pray for them, and also reaching out to their moms and dads and their grandparents. Many of y'all might know them more than I would, and it's going to be difficult at times to get a hold of their parents or grandparents to allow them to take a bigger step in their faith, or to take the next step, or to initiate, or to get them to be involved in church as well. And then the next one would be just physical service. I get lots and lots of requests, not really requests, but just students saying, hey, I'm either they need a ride somewhere, or they're stuck somewhere, or their car breaks down, or something goes wrong at their house, or other things like that, and we're trying to help. I try and go and help and meet whatever need we can, or see if I can be involved in any kind of a way. And a lot of that is just personal, for me, but wanting to, the bigger that it's becoming, just the more people, if you're able or willing or have skill sets that could be used in that way to volunteer time to physically help some of these students out, that would be great, and just a big way we could serve them and their families. And then also just on the discipleship side, several students, there's a lot of students, and I'm on my phone constantly. I respond to every single text message. I make sure I do that, answer every single phone call, just in case. But we've had to start branching out because I can't do all of them one-on-one. There's not enough time. And so Jacob's got a couple right now. Mr. Reagan, I know, has worked with several, and the Kellys have worked with several, Miss Stephanie, and so on, and have just continued to take different students and check up on them and text them and call them and help them get to church, help them, pray for them and do different things like that outside of normal service hours. And so those are several ways that practical, and then also just behind the scenes, that our student ministry could really, use the boost or take some help, and also just be in prayer over the ministry in general. It's been going really good and really great. We had our students came together last week and was like, hey, I know we've been doing the Sunday fun days at the MMC on Sundays, but can we go back to doing teaching? And I was like, yeah, if that's what y'all want, that's what we're going to do. We tell them it's their ministry, whatever you want to do. So that's what we're going to do. And so Mariah and I are planning on opening up our home on schedule with the home groups, and we're going to be having the students whose families don't have anywhere to go or don't go to a home group. They're going to come to our house, and we'd love to have anybody else that wants to come as well, just to be a part and witness and to kind of disciple those students that'll be coming this year as well. So we'll have signups for each one of those things, and can always reach out to me or talk to me as well on anything going on, or any member of our committee as well. So thank you, guys.
All right, so
My name's Sean Martin. I'm the worship pastor here, and I'm kind of new. But yeah, we are super excited to be here with you. And one of the things that we do is we have a wonderful choir. In fact, I would say that it's one of the best choirs in our area and possibly even the state, okay? So, but it is a fantastic way to get plugged in. It's a great way to meet a whole lot of people, and we have a lot of fun, right? So there we go. Thank you. This is the engagement part for my choir right now, okay? So, especially when Tim's there, yeah. Thank you, Tim. So we do have a great time in choir, and it's a great way to really get plugged in and meet new people. But we have an opening for you in the loft there. There's a few chairs left open, and we would love to have you come and join us. It's a great opportunity to sing praise to the Lord. You know, throughout Scripture, you can see that that's a command, not just for your consideration. It is a command to sing, and there's different reasons for that too. One of those reasons is because, believe it or not, it's worshipful, right? It's worshipful. We worship a great God, and we are to praise His name. We are to sing praise to the Lord. And whenever you worship also draws in worshipers. Okay? You lead people into worship, and that's what the choir is there for. That choir is to lead in worship, and they do a fantastic job each and every Sunday. And I am so pleased and excited to get to work with them. Also, we have a great praise team. They do a wonderful job too, and the band is steadily growing. The band is steadily growing. Some of us out further than others. But no, we have opportunities to serve throughout that as well. We want you to, you know, the Lord has given you talents and given you abilities, and He wants you to use those to serve Him. And so we want to make those opportunities available as well. So maybe you play an instrument, maybe you sing, maybe you are really good on a soundboard, or maybe you're really good with computers, or maybe you're really good with photography, okay? I'm looking for some photographers too, to be able to go and photograph the different events that we do. Taking some pictures every once in a while in worship would be great, just so that we can be able to use those in some of the things that we're going to be doing in the future. So if you have those abilities and have an artistic mind, if that is you, come talk to me. We have places for you to be able to serve throughout. So we have, again, the choir, the band, and the media team is what we're calling all of those guys upstairs that like to kind of be behind the scenes. And the only time anybody says, hey, that's you, is when something goes wrong up here. But hey, thank them, because without them, it would be very difficult for us to do what we do up here, okay? So make sure that you thank them too, because they are serving with the gifts that God has given them as well. And so, yeah, if you have some of those gifts, we would love the opportunity to talk with you and get you involved. Thanks.
All right. Are we forgetting anyone who we asked to speak that hasn't? All right. I know disaster relief is here. We have, I'm just looking around the room, I'm seeing a lot of different people represented. We have all sorts of ministries, so I'm going to talk about some of those that are special partnerships in just a moment. But first, let me talk about children's ministry. On our way to the children's ministry stuff, I do want to say that speaking of your media team up in the balcony, if you saw Greg Elam sweating this morning, it's because as soon as I got up there to preach, my notes, the app just crashed out. And so I started preaching without my notes, and I was not exactly going in order. I knew what I needed to say, but he was jumping back and forth. And then once I got settled, Greg's heart rate did too. But anyway, but thank you to all those guys who work up there every week. I'm Kayla tonight. Kayla has the flu, and just to give y'all an insight on how our staff group chat goes, Kayla announces that she had flu B, and Brock said he doesn't know what that is, but if he had it, it would be an A. And, and so for Kayla's sake, I asked her to stay home today, but really that's for our sake. But anyway, but with children's ministry, similar to what you just heard with Brock, we have a lot of different things going on all year long. Some of the one-time special events that we have that Kayla is going to need some help with. We have Fall Festival coming up, which we did trunk or treat last year, and so we need a lot of volunteers to make that work smoothly. Vacation Bible School every summer. We have things like an Easter celebration that we did last year, and so if you're interested, you might not even have to see a child. You can work in the kitchen. Okay, we need lots of different people with lots of different gifts. She also needs extra help on children's ministry. Just like the youth ministry, the children's ministry has been growing. They had 82 on Wednesday night, and we're starting a check-in thing where parents have to check their children in each week, and then they pick them up. And we need 3 people to help with check-in. And what those 3 people will do is those 3 people will need to be over at the MMC about 5:20, and they will just stay until about 6:10, 6:15, something like that. And all they will do is check children in when they arrive. So some practical things like that. But just with Wednesday evenings, if you love being around children, you love teaching children, then she can throw you in a classroom and let you help. For our children and youth ministry, we don't have we don't ask a lot. We want you to be able to pass a background check, okay, for the peace of mind of the parents and for the children's safety and your protection and all those. Was that Lane or Tim? Okay. We just want some people helping with our children's ministry. Children's church on Sunday morning, they're needing volunteers for even nursery volunteers on Sunday morning. So if you don't like kids when they're able to talk back, then just get those babies and hold them in the nursery. And so that's some of that. In just a moment, I'm talk about a couple more things here, but in just a moment, you're going to have an opportunity to sign up for some of these different areas. And we'll have children over here, youth over here, worship right here, and then some of these other things that we've been talking about tonight and that I'm about to talk some more about also. We have some special church partnerships with the Arkansas Baptist State Convention. Of course, we partner with them to do missions and ministry all over the world. But right here in Arkansas, we have disaster relief, which you've heard John and Jenny speak on many times. And we are always looking to recruit more help for disaster relief. And that's, if there's a disaster right here in our community, sure, then we're here helping. But that's also anywhere in Arkansas, anywhere in the world that calls for our disaster relief team to come and help, then they usually do that, especially when it's some of the southern states around us that's close to us. We get the first call sometimes. We also have BCM, Baptist Collegiate Ministry over at UAM, and CJ Womack is leading that, and he's one of my former students when I was the BCM director over there. And so we take a meal through WOM every year to the BCM, but there are other ways that we're trying to get partnerships going, and we would like to do a better job of ministering to the UAM right here in Crossit and to do some things there. And so, all right, let me see. I'm trying to edit out our time here while I'm speaking, but Arkansas Baptist Children and Family Ministries, we have that for that working relationship with them, where we have opportunities to go over to the children's home in Monticello. As many of you know, you're no longer allowed to have independent private orphanages in the state of Arkansas anymore. And so we have transformed that into homes for foster families, so that kids from large foster groups, say you have 6 or 7 siblings, well, they can all live in the same home still because we have that ministry over there. But there's a lot more ministry that takes place on that campus than just that. With that said, there are all sorts of opportunities up here as you're reading through this. We have people who work over at the food bank. I think Roddy is, where did Roddy sit down at? Oh, you're right in front of my eyes. I know Roddy and Mr. Bobby Vickers and some other people have helped over there and do help over there and have a fond experience with them. We want to be able to, when there are local people who need help, we want to partner with other churches to make sure that that help is there given at the food bank. And of course, we have benevolence here right through our church. But we have Life Choices. We have so many other ministries that we want volunteers to partner with. We have Hope at Home. We have all these different ministries that are independent of us, and yet we get to partner with them. And so if those are things that seem to interest you, then let us know. You can come up here and read through these. And there's all sorts of things that we have. We just simply don't have time to go through everything that we do. But I do want to say that we also have ministries. We have people in our church who do ministries that aren't official church things. I mean, we have a group of men. I know they don't want me to say their names, so I won't. But we have a group of men in our church who know of people who need their lawns mowed, and they just go and mow those lawns for them. Now, some of y'all are like, where do I sign up to get on that list? But I'm just talking about, volunteering to mow, not volunteering to have your lawn mowed, okay? But we have people in our church who serve in so many different ways. If there is something that you are passionate about, then we want to get you connected. Reagan, I'll pick on him, who does a great job with our youth, but he came to me one day and he was like, I want to serve more. How do I serve? And I didn't ask his permission to say this story, but I'm just going to assume that he's okay with it or gives me grace later. But and I was just thinking, who in our church is better at making people feel welcomed than Reagan Craig? And so I said, when people walk through the doors of the church, I want you to be one of the first faces they see. And so will you just greet people? It's not about his face, by the way. It's about his personality. But I love you, Reagan. Reagan has a great hospital story of when I was visiting him in the hospital last week. Y'all should ask him about it. And so, so I asked Reagan if he would be greeting people, and we want more people doing that. We want more people. We already have some people who are handing out bulletins, who are making people can get to their seats safely and things like that. We want more help in that area. And so there's all sorts of things. If you don't see something up here that you want to do, then we will create a job for you. We want you to serve. We want you to be the body. We want you to do that. And then we're talking about a lot of this that we're talking about. Of course, we're talking about reaching the community and serving the community and things like that. But how do we reach beyond our community? And how do we do that? Now, some of these partnerships, like with ABSC and others, are about reaching people. Operation Christmas Child are about reaching people beyond our church and beyond our community. But you are our way of how we're going to reach the world. We're going to be disciples who make disciples. We're going to go out and we're going to spread the gospel. And God's going to call some of us to be missionaries, and we're going to support missions financially and prayerfully. And we hope to soon schedule some trips to go along with our people who are already individually going on mission trips. We hope to, here in the coming few months and years, to have lots of mission trips on the docket that we're going to be a part of, where we're going to work with local missionaries wherever they are to help support them and serve them in whatever way they ask us to do that. And so if there's any way that you want to serve and you don't know what it is and you don't see it on one of these sheets, then just talk to us. But what I'm going to ask you to do as we close is I'm going to ask if you would to come around, and if you're interested in helping with children, that's over there. And even if you're not necessarily interested in helping every week, there might be a one-time event that you can help with to cook food or to do something practical. And so that's over there. And then over here, we have sign-ups for youth. And so if you heard something that Bright was saying and you want to get connected there, then sign up for youth. And then we have worship right here. And so if you want to be a part of the choir or any of those things, the media team, then those sign-up sheets are over here. And then right here we have our church partnerships. So food bank, Life Choices, things like that. If you want to help us work better with them, then that sign up list is up here. Some of the ministries that you heard of that are kind of run out of our church, like Teenagers and Pillars and WOM and things like that. If you're interested in knowing more about that, or you want to help out there, then sign up there. And then special ministries, like if you want to help care for widows and shut-ins, or the lawn mowing, or things like that, then there's a list there. And then the last thing that I'll close with are our committees. And you heard from some of our committees. We have more committees than we were able to let people talk about. But we have Finance Committee, Preschool Children's Committee, Personnel Committee, Properties Committee, Youth, We School, Baptism, Flower, which Flower also does a lot more than flowers with decoration, hospitality, music, intercessory prayer, missions, nominating, facility use, security, which we probably need to work on some of these, but deacon, education, constitution and bylaws, church moderators, which are, unfortunately our bylaws say that the pastor is that. But anyway, we want to have more ushers, more greeters. We want to have more people helping on properties committee and personnel committee, finance committee, all those things that you've been hearing about, youth, preschool. And so, again, I can't go into detail about all of these ministries or committees that we're doing, but there's that. Let me say this. Sunday school. Right now, we're averaging over the last month or so about 300 people in our worship service on Sunday morning. And sometimes we might have literally 370, and the next week we might have 260. It's a yo-yoing right now. But let's say we have an average of 300 people. And let's say that we just want to make it possible for 75% of the people who come to worship to go to Sunday school. Well, then that means that we would need 225 seats in our Sunday school classes. And by my count, looking around and seeing how many Sunday school classes are full or don't have that much more space, that means that tomorrow we need to start about 4 more Sunday school classes. And so we know what some of those are. The Sunday school class I'm teaching with young adults and young marrieds, that needs to split into 2. We need to have just young singles and young marrieds, and they can go to whatever class they want to, but we need to have 2 there. And so I think I have 1 person to teach that, but I don't need to teach that class. They're hearing me preach right after that, and so they don't need to hear me for 2 straight hours, okay? And I want to be able to go around and to support all of our Sunday school classes. So I really need even though I already have someone, I think, to teach that young adult class, I'm going to need someone to teach that young married class. And then if you're under 60 years old, besides the blessings who go with John and Jenny, if you're under 60 years old, then when I got here, between youth and that one, the only co-ed class was Kurt's. And so we need to add a few more co-ed classes. And we have a great men's class. We've got some great women's classes. But if you look at how many seats are available in those rooms, we probably need to add some more of those types of classes. So if you've been praying about leading a Sunday school class, we need more. And I don't have, besides that young marrieds and young singles that we need to divide, and possibly 1 more right after Kurt's class, I don't really have much vision on where those need to be. Maybe God will give you the vision for where that needs to be. And so I really want to encourage you to do that. And then the last thing is our home groups. We have, I think if I've done my math right, and I'm still waiting to hear back for certain from some people, but I think we're going to have about 9 home groups this semester. But I would love for us to have 3 more. I would love for us to have 12 home groups. And so if that's something that you're interested in hosting or leading, then please let me know. We want to get you involved in that. When it comes to hosting, we're looking for a safe place for people to meet, okay? It doesn't have to be the cleanest house on the block. It doesn't have to be, we just don't want your roof caving in, and we don't want toddlers to die as they're, crawling around your living room, all right? It's not like a big ask. But if that's something that you think you would be interested in doing and helping us with, we really need those. And those can be any night, but most of them are on Sunday night just for practical reasons in that most people are off of work on Sunday night. But we do have one on Tuesday night, and we're open to having more throughout the week. Okay, with that said, it's like drinking from a fire hose tonight, hearing all of these different things, and that's the point of it. We want you to see that our church does an incredible amount of ministry, and you are leading that ministry. And I am completely open for us to stop doing some of the things that you heard tonight or some of the things that are on these lists. We do not have to do all of these things. But if the Lord has compelled us to serve him in these ways, for you to be the part of the body that he's called you to be in serving in these ways, then I want us to do all these things and more. And so that's something for you to pray about. How should you help serve? And so this is, when you sign your name on this list, if any of you want to sign in any of these places, this is not you saying, I am committing to serving for the next 10 years. This is just you saying, I'm interested in learning more about these things. And so children and youth, they're categorized, okay? You're signing up for some pretty specific things. You might say which event you want to help with. But some of these, like church partnerships, you'll need to put your name and the partnership that you're interested in knowing more about. One of the ministries that are based here at our church, you need to put your name and the ministry that you want to know more about, or special ministries, and you'll see it as you get up here. Committees, policy committees, ushers, things like that. If you're interested in serving in any of those, this last one, the committee and policy committee sign-up list is there. But this has been a lot, I know. That's the point of it. We want you to see all the things that God is doing, but we want every single person to be a part of it. And if you want to know more, please sign up. So we're going to pray and we're going to dismiss, but the dismissal, it should be dismissal up here for you to sign up for something that you're interested in. So children's, worship, all the ministries and partnerships that we talked about, and then youth over here. So let's pray, and then you guys are dismissed. Thank y'all for coming tonight. Lord, we love you, and I'm so grateful that you have brought so many incredible Christians right here to our church, that they have matured here, that they have grown here as we continue to grow together, Lord, that you have given us so many leaders over the years to equip us, the saints, for the work of the ministry, that we can grow together into your head, into maturity, into the fullness of Christ, that you have called us to be your body. And there are so many different ways that we do that. And so, Lord, if there are any of these things that we talked about tonight that we need to stop doing in order to serve you better, then help us to see that. But God, I am so thankful that you've put it on the heart of our people to serve you in these ways. And for those that you want to continue in this way, then I pray that we would continue with strength and that these ministries would only get better and better as the years go by. Lord, I pray for each individual that is sitting in a pew this evening, Lord, and even those who watch this later online. I pray that you would help us to know how we individually need to serve you. What part of the body should we play, Lord? And so, God, I pray that you would help to make that clear. And if there's anyone who wants to know something more, if you're leading them in a certain way or compelling them, then I pray that they would put their names on here tonight. And if there's someone sitting in here that just has no idea how you want to use them, then I pray that you would begin to do a work in their life where you would make that clear. We know that you're not a God of confusion, that you want us to know how to honor you and how to obey you and how to worship you. And so I do pray that you would make that clear to us in here tonight. Lord, I know that there are inevitably, with all that we are doing, there are people in here who are burned out. And Lord, this morning we talked about that joy that might be missing in our service. God, I pray that you would restore to us the joy of our salvation. Lord, if that's while we're continuing to do what we've been doing, or taking a break, or to stop doing it altogether and focus on something else, we just want to be merry. We want to sit at your feet. We don't want to work because it's what we are supposed to do, or we don't want to do it empty of love or joy. Lord, we want to serve you with gladness, and so help us to do so. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.